Greetings, everyone. Keith here. Hoping everyone's having a good day. Enjoying life, living life, loving life. Be sure to hit those buttons to show your support. And there's a PayPal link below for anyone that wants to share some love. All is appreciated.
Accounted for, my name's been read, written in the ledger where the lamb was led. Did not the body, did not the blood pay every debt in the flood of love? So tell me now, what's left to owe? When mercy calls, I can't say. What the law might bring. If love's the all that love fulfills, all that binds all their wills. Silver spent, the temples fall, but the heart still whispers through it all. Render to God what is divine, and what remains is only mine. So tell me now, what's mine to keep when every truth cuts dark and deep? Are we alone? No man anything. Does the blood absolve the suffering? If love's the law, then the Christ pay everything. The law fulfilled, the veil torn through. Now the law of me is loving you.
Greetings, everyone. Keith here. Hoping everybody's having a good day, enjoying life, living life, loving life. We're going to get back into it tonight on more of the systemic crimes going on and people that are waking up to it slow but sure. And the first video we're going to watch is somebody that was on the one side of it in multiple different ways along his life, and he's going to explain why he's getting out of it. And in his explanation, there's going to be some things said that are going to correlate to exactly what I've been saying for a number of years. The importance of waking up to it and actually speaking out on it. How you speak out on it, what you use as your foundation to speak out on it. And this is why I tell people, don't believe me, don't believe the neighbor, don't believe the government. For crying out loud, don't believe your neighbor or your mother. Do your own research so you know. This is important to the aspect of your own self-will and self-wellness. If you keep subjecting yourself to this insanity, it's the same thing as looking into the abyss. You become part of the abyss. So we're going to listen to this man's story about getting out of that. Pull her up. And this here is Southern Drawl Law. And you'll see the link for this guy down in the chat, or down in the detail section. I don't believe I've posted him before, so there's a link for him down in the detail section. And he says, I decided to hang it up. Why I'm no longer practicing law. And you're going to hear from him that he was in law before he started his legal business.
Same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And so I think that in light of that idea, they say that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And so I think that in light of that idea, there comes a time in a person's life, if they're conscientious and reflective and trying to hold themselves accountable for the decisions they make, where they ask themselves, am I living in an insanity loop? And I feel like that's what.
Am I living in an insanity loop? And like I've said for many times, people have heard me say many times, I've been going around flipping people off saying, you ain't my daddy. Fuck you. Because I know better. I've been watching this insanity loop since I was a child. I just didn't understand what it was. And therefore I became indoctrinated into it a little bit here and there. And slowly I kept feeling like I was being consumed. That's why I speak out. If I can't do anything of my own self-will and my own wellness, that would be the only reason I would need somebody else to do it for me. Yet here we're all posing as adults, being able to take care of children, and we expect a false patriarch to help us in that, to help us in something that should be natural.
Where I'm at. And so I'm going to talk to you guys about what's next for me and why I've decided to stop practicing law. Let's talk about it. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to Southern Drawl Law.
And yes, go over and subscribe to him, even though he's dropping out of the law stuff. I'm sure he's still going to be doing videos. So keep an eye on him. And plus, you know, if you've got him on there, you can always check him out to go back and check out his previous videos to find out what he's been saying about this stuff. And this guy, he's spoken on the Lecter, Kentucky situation that I spoke out on here recently. I'm sure he's also aware of Tanoa Downing and the others going forth and putting down their notices, serving their legal notices to various different city councils and county boards of commissions and stuff. And so these are things that he's going to be speaking about, knowing what's going on and finally realizing the insanity of him trying to do anything about it from where he's at as an attorney, while the rest of that system demands that he can't do anything about it from that position. And this is, again, why it's so important for the people to understand their position in holding the government accountable and doing it. Those within themselves can only investigate themselves and come out clean.
My name is James White, criminal defense attorney, former prosecutor, former police officer. I don't expect that I'm going to get very many views on this video. There are, you know, some percentage of my audience that, and I'm thankful, so thankful for you guys that watch everything I do. I could literally just make long fart noises into the camera and the microphone, and you guys are gracious enough to indulge me.
Does that sound familiar? People so infatuated with somebody that they will listen to any bullshit they put out. So it exists in the real world, folks.
I'm not going to start doing that, by the way, but I have decided to end my law practice.
And he will talk about even the trolling on YouTube chats and stuff. This guy has a lot of good insight, and I'm glad that he's stepping out. I'm glad that he's looking forward to doing something different. I can only hope that what he does different is a heavy factor in helping hold these people accountable.
As of right now, I have 5 clients. I have 2 that will finish up in the next week with resolving their cases. It's already on the docket, already arranged. And then I have 3 more that are in juvenile.
And in here, he's also going to speak on the guy that posted the meme in Tennessee and how he got arrested for 35, 36 days and how important that is. So pay attention. This guy's paying attention to all the same things I am. And it's the things that they call corruption, which he recognizes. And that's why he's getting out. He can't do anything about the criminal activity by partaking in the criminal active position.
Courts that will finish before the end of the year. And then I'm done. The reason I'm making this video is because I literally get emails from you guys. I probably get, in all seriousness, somewhere around 300 emails per week. Many of them are people who are trying to hire me. I'm only one person. That contributes in a lot of ways to why I've decided to end my law practice, but it's been coming for a long time. And the real reason is that I'm just disenchanted. And
it's been coming for a long time. And the real reason is because he's been disenchanted. And this is the question that they all ask you when you're like in kindergarten. What do you want to be when you grow up? And many of us say firefighter, police officer, lawyer, banker, judge, one of these heroic positions where you get to have that enchantment of being a hero. But when you get there, you see all the criminal activity. And if you dare say anything about it, it's career suicide, no matter how long you've been at it. A day, 20 years. It doesn't matter. You say something against them and you're out. It's back to blue all the way. And of course, that extends outside of their ranks into the community where people are back in the blue until it happens to you. And that's the position he's in now. It's just like the other guy, Mickey Steins, that killed the judge, Kevin Mullins, in Lecter County, Kentucky. He's at a position where he's recognizing that if he keeps going, it's not for his self-will, and it's not very healthy. It's not for his wellness. It can get him in trouble. Good man, trying to do everything he can to stop it and realizing he can't do it from inside.
Don't believe in the system anymore. I'm still an optimistic person, but there comes a time when realism has to be your problem. The real reason is that I'm just disenchanted and I don't believe in the system anymore. I'm still an optimistic person, but there comes a time when realism has to be your priority and you can't fake optimism anymore. And in so many ways, doing YouTube content has made me a more informed lawyer. It's made me a more informed consumer, and it's shone a light on areas of the law and areas of the criminal justice system that I never knew existed. The real reason is that I'm just disenchanted and I don't believe in the system anymore. I'm still an optimistic person, but there comes a time when realism has to be your priority and you can't fake optimism anymore. And in so many ways, doing YouTube content has made me a more informed lawyer. It's made me a more informed consumer, and it's shone a light on areas of the law and areas of the criminal justice system that I never knew existed. The real reason is that I'm just disenchanted and I don't believe in the system anymore. I'm still an optimistic person, but there comes a time when realism has to be your priority and you can't fake optimism anymore. And in so many ways, doing YouTube content has made me a more informed lawyer. It's made me a more informed consumer, and it's shone a light on areas of the law and areas of the criminal justice system that I never knew existed.
And so there's one piece of information that I hope people are paying attention to, because when it comes to these people asking, well, where'd you get your law degree? On YouTube? You hear it from one of the horse's mouth. Yeah, it enlightened me a lot more to what the law really is. See, this is where we get to speak outside of their box. This is where you get to put your voice out. And the algorithm does pick it up. And people that are looking for the information find it. And again, don't believe me, don't believe the neighbor, don't believe the government, don't believe your mother, for crying out loud. Do your own research. I guarantee this guy probably does his research. That's where the commonality comes in. That's where the objective reality comes in. Those that do their research and don't go just by one source, they pick up many sources that all have different things to say, positive and negative, and they correlate it for themselves, for their own discernment, for their own judgment, not to judge against anybody, so they can determine for themselves what the truth is. And then they can put that forth. And of course, it's only an opinion. Understand.
But the downside to that is an honest person can't ignore the truth and purport to be authentic. And this is what I've learned, that the color of your skin does matter when it comes to interactions with police officers. I didn't used to think that that was true. I really didn't. And can't ignore the truth. And an honest person can't ignore the truth and can't ignore the truth and purport to be authentic. An honest person can't ignore the truth and purport to be authentic. And this is what I've learned, that the color of your skin does matter when it comes to interactions with police officers. I didn't used to think that that was true. I really didn't. I really didn't believe, and I still don't wholeheartedly buy into the idea of white privilege. And I say that because I literally grew up with nothing. And I mean nothing. If you go back to my video from late last year, I did an origin story because I had some audience members asking me about it. And I talked about my background. And guys, I literally came from nothing. If you see me somewhere, if you see me out, if you see me at the grocery store, I'll be dressed like I'm homeless. I'll be looking like you would not expect me to look if you knew I was an attorney, whatever that means. But an honest person can't ignore the truth and purport to be authentic. And this is what I've learned, that the color of your skin does matter when it comes to interactions with police officers. I didn't used to think that that was true. I really didn't. I really didn't believe, and I still don't wholeheartedly buy into the idea of white privilege. And I say that because I literally grew up with nothing. And I mean nothing. If you go back to my video from late last year, I did an origin story because I had some audience members asking me about it. And I talked about my background. And guys, I literally came from nothing. If you see me somewhere, if you see me out, if you see me at the grocery store, I'll be dressed like I'm homeless. I'll be looking like you would not expect me to look if you knew I was an attorney, whatever that means. But the point is,
So yeah, my mom and dad used to tell me, Keith, you should cut your hair. They didn't like me growing my hair long. They wanted me to fit in with a privileged class, to look like I was privileged. See, and that's part of the problem. Your true mentality isn't exhibited by the way you look or a piece of paper on a wall or the kudos that other people might give you for any given reason. But it's truly through your own behavior in how you treat other people. No other way should you be discerning people for what they are, particularly if it's somebody else saying it. Again, do your own research.
I never expected to be where I am in life. I was never supposed to be anything. And my struggle to just survive in the earlier years of my life caused me to think that this idea of privilege, white privilege specifically, and I'm not going to get into a long discussion about white privilege. There's literally nothing positive that can come from it. But I said all that to say it's real. It on some level, the color of your skin matters to police. And that's even if they have the same color of skin. And it matters in the criminal justice system. And it may not be directly, well, I'm not going to do this because of the color of this person's skin, but there is an inherent bias that exists. And that's all I'm going to say about it. And if you don't feel like that's authentic, that's okay. You can feel however you want to. It took me a long time. And it may not be directly, well, I'm not going to do this because of the color of this person's skin, but there is an inherent bias that exists. And it may not be directly, well, I'm not going to do this because of the color of this person's skin, but there is an inherent bias that exists. And that's all I'm going to say about it. And if you don't feel like that's authentic, that's okay. You can feel however you want to. It took me a long time. I just turned 46 over the weekend. It took me a long time to come to a place where I can acknowledge that that's a reality, but it is. And in my mind, it is. Again, you don't have to agree, but I'm not here to try to get you to agree with me. I'm here to talk about the things that I'm passionate about. And
see, he and I were about the same age when we came to this realization of this inherent bias that exists in this system, and that you really can't do anything about it except stand on your own, because ain't nobody going to support you in trying to tear it down within the system. It's not going to happen. People aren't going to destroy their own livelihood. They're not going to destroy the net that comfort and convenience of those around them doing the same thing, bearing false witness, so they can do it too for their private means.
What actually prompted this conversation was, and I love that he did this, but I was watching Michael Malice last night on YouTube, and John Bryan sat down with him. And I think it's the only time, in fact, John said that he'd never done an interview like that before. I think it's the only time that anybody ever actually picked John Bryan's brain and asked him what his why was. And I think that that gets lost in both YouTubers and sort of just like everyday life. Like, why is it that we do what we do? And John told a few stories that I've been watching John's channel since the first video he put out. I didn't even realize it that was his first video. And without going into a lot of detail, I actually personally knew some of the people involved in that because I'm actually from that area. And so I was listening to John Bryan, and it sounds to me like I don't know if it's for sure a thing because I don't want to speak for him, but it sounds to me like he's doing the same thing, that he's sort of winding down his actual practice to focus more on YouTube. And the reason I say all of that is to say that this has given me an opportunity to have so much more impact on the culture of law.
So as I've said, in regards to the Andrew Wilson and Rob Knorr and Speak Sleazy and Blood Sport Debating and stuff, and being on other platforms, the Blood Sport Debating shit is expanding into the international news platforms where they're getting airtime on those kind of platforms, as well as people from those platforms are now platforming on YouTube, just like this attorney platformed on YouTube, and he's telling you he's going straight to YouTube now. So good to hear that he's going to stick around. And so go ahead and go sub up to him. Keep an eye out for any new channel he might put out. And, I urge you again, do your research, folks.
Law enforcement interactions and media related to those things, so much more reach. It has shrunk the world. But I get to a place where people try to hire me so much, and they try to reach out and get me to give them legal advice and that kind of thing so much via email that I feel like I have to say something. I can't represent you, and I'm not going to represent you. And it is impossible for one person to do so many different things. And what I've found out, what I've realized along the way, is that you can be excellent at one thing. And I'm not even suggesting I'm excellent. I'm just saying that the thing that you do the best, if you start doing other things and not focusing on that thing that you do the best, the quality of what you do best will go down. And then the other things that you might have been good at will also go down, and you'll be to do so many different things. And what I've found out, what I've realized along the way, is that you can be excellent at one thing. And I'm not even suggesting I'm excellent. I'm just saying that the thing that you do the best, if you start doing other things and not focusing on that thing that you do the best, the quality of what you do best will go down. And then the other things that you might have been good at will also go down, and you'll be sort of average at everything you do. And
this is actually why I quit my sales and marketing business, because I was the best salesman. But when I tried to run the business and let other people in that position of salesman, I could do the other jobs. I could keep the files and everything. I could still set up the contracts and do all that stuff. But in order to have good sales in that office for me, I had to be on the phone. What good does it do if I can do more than the rest of the phone room? Because they don't recognize their potential, they don't put their all into it, whatever the reason is. If I can do it simply by myself, well, then of course I'm sitting there doing it all by myself, and it becomes like that. I don't have enough time to stay on the phone because I'm too busy doing everything else. Delegation of authority, coming together in groups of people that specialize in different things so they can put them all together and work as a group in unison.
I had a lieutenant who I love dearly. His name's Brad, and he was like a father figure to me, and I love the man, and I still love the man. We didn't see eye to eye on everything, and in fact, he probably has, truth be told, he probably has no idea what I do now, because I haven't talked to him in probably 10 years, but he used to say something that always resonated with me, and he said, if you are average, you are just as close to being piss poor as you are to being great. And I loved that. Now, he and I see policing very differently. But to be fair, I see policing very differently today than I did even 5 years ago. I remember going back and looking at some of the conversations I've had with people and arguments I had with people on Facebook, because I was an actual through and through, like, the only thing I could taste was leather, baby, bootlicker. I mean, literally, I was a bootlicker.
So he was back in the blue until it happened to you, and he caught on. He caught on. And now he knows it is him. It's everybody. He understands how systemic it is. He's pointing this out to you, just like I've been doing it.
And because it just had not clicked for me how pervasive this horrible attitude and ego-driven modern policing has converted what I thought was a virtuous profession.
Hitler's willing executioners. I urge everybody to read it. It's how this police state is developing. They are the exact same tactics. The highway system that we have in America was developed on the German Autobahn to carry military equipment within.
Into a standing army that does not give a single fuck about our rights. They have the most enormous senses of entitlement to your resources that I've ever seen in my entire life. And I know individual police officers that I still love, that I would give my life for it in a heartbeat, literally like that. If I a single fuck about our rights, they have the most enormous senses of entitlement to your resources that I've ever seen in my entire life. A single fuck about our rights. They have the most enormous senses of entitlement to your resources that I've ever seen in my entire life. Fuck about our rights. They have the most enormous senses of entitlement to your resources that I've ever seen in my entire life. And I know individual police officers that I still love, that I would give my life for it in a heartbeat, literally like that. If I drove by one of these guys that I know personally on the side of the road and I had to give my life for them, I would do it. But I have stopped assuming that because a person is a police officer, that they're a good police officer. And that's been an enormous evolution for me. Some might call it devolving in my viewpoint, but I believe it's an evolution in my viewpoint. Because the fact is, we just do not give these guys any sort of training about what they're supposed to be doing, what the customer service position of being a police officer is supposed to be, and who they work. Any sort of training about what they're supposed to be doing, what the customer service not give these guys any sort of training about what they're supposed to be doing, what the customer service position of being a police officer is supposed to be, and who they work for. Fact is, we just do not give these guys any sort of training about what they're supposed to be doing, what the customer service position of being a police officer is supposed to be, and who they work for. We just do not give these guys any sort of training about what they're supposed to be doing, what the customer service position of being a police officer is supposed to be, and who they work for.
Can anyone tell me who they work for? And remember, it's a customer service position, right? This is from a guy that used to be a police officer, and now he's an attorney. Now he's giving up the legal profession to dig into YouTube more, to express more of what he knows, more of what he's learned, more of what he's become disenchantized about.
What we have taught them is that political power, social status, and personalized benefits are the virtues of a career in law enforcement, when the truth...
Popularity contest all day long for all of those positions: bankers, lawyers, judges, you name it. Those are popularity contests, those career jobs with federal government, state governments, and acting as agents for such agencies.
Is they get the benefit of the doubt from the public, because the public looks at the job of a police officer and what they see is a customer service job that might end in your death. And they think, you know what? That guy or that girl is willing to die in service to their community. But if you actually look around, you don't see a whole lot of service to anything other than ego and power and self. And that starts in the leadership of die in service to their community. But if you actually look around, you don't see a whole lot of service to anything other than ego and power and self. And service to their community. But if you actually look around, you don't see a whole lot of service to anything other than ego and power and self. And that starts in the leadership of the municipality or the county, from the elected official, either governor, sheriff, mayor, whatever, and it trickles down to frontline police officers answering calls. And then that's over here. And then you've got the people who prosecute the cases. In this case in Tennessee.
And like I said previously, it's because everybody's willing to sign on for everybody else in that little group. It's a private club and you ain't in it. And they're all signing on for each other, not you. It's systemic.
Was a perfect example that recently happened where this guy was jailed over a Facebook meme. I don't agree with anything the guy says on his Facebook page. I've looked at it. He and I do not see eye to eye at all. But the fact that you can say something on the internet that is mocking someone or pointing out hypocrisy, or the thing that used to be on late night TV show called mean tweets that is supposed to just roll off of people's back and just be a thing that some internet troll said that didn't matter to anybody. It's the same type of shit that people say in the comment section of YouTube videos. The fact that that can get you put in jail in Tennessee with a $2 million bond, and your case goes through multiple purported systems of checks and balances, only to have your liberty stripped from you with no accountability whatsoever for 36 some days, is evidence to anybody who is not burying their head in the sand that the legal system is a fallacy. And what's ironic about the whole deal is that the same people who for 36 some days is evidence to anybody who is not burying their head in the sand that the legal system is a fallacy. And for 36 some days is evidence to anybody who is not burying their head in the sand that the legal system is a fallacy. And what's ironic about the whole deal is that the same people who work for the government, they're actually the largest welfare recipients of any other group in the United States. People who work for the government are complacent and lazy, and they literally have no system of accountability except for public outrage. And again, I was listening to John talk about this, and it is really not about one police officer or one attorney, complacent and lazy, and they literally have no system of accountability except for public outrage. And complacent and lazy, and they literally have no system of accountability except for public outrage. And again, I was listening to John.
That public outrage is why I speak out. So this is what I'm urging you to do. Show your outrage. Express it. Be reasonable about it. Don't become the angry old man like me, you know?
Talk about this. And it is really not about one police officer or one attorney or anything like that. It's really just about the government will try to screw you every single time it gets a chance. And if you think that you are exempt from that, then you are dumb. And you're living your life in a literal ignorant way. And the back the blue till it happens to you is a thing that is real, and they are coming for you. They're coming. The government will try to screw you every single time it gets a chance. And if you think that you are exempt from that, then you are dumb. And you're living your life in a literal ignorant way. And the back the blue till it happens to you is a thing that is real, and they are coming for you. They're coming for everything that you hold dear. And I'm not, the government will try to screw you every single time it gets a chance. And if you think that you are exempt from that, then you are dumb. And you're living your life in a literal ignorant way. And the back the blue till it happens to you is a thing that is real, and they are coming for you. They're coming for everything that you hold dear. And the government will try to screw you every single time it gets a chance. And if you think that you are exempt from that, then you are dumb. And you're living your life in a literal ignorant way. And the back the blue till it happens to you is a thing that is real, and they are coming for you. They're coming for everything that you hold dear. And
Well, first of all, I don't even know who you are. And seems you fell for the Paul unshaved lies and gang stalking against me, huh, Keith? I haven't had anything to do with Paul for over a year. So I have no idea what you're talking about. And then too bad, I'd love to get you on with Victor Hugo Vaca's show. I don't even know who he is, so I don't know if it really makes any difference. I'm not out here trying to propagandize or advertise or anything. I'm just saying the things that I say about the things that I review. If you want, I can drop the link. Just let me know. Give you a chance to come on up and use your First Amendment. If you want to talk about it, I'm open.
I'm not trying to be a doomsday person. I'm really not. It's just At some point, if you're just an honest, authentic, realistic person, you have to acknowledge fundamental truths, and this is a fundamental truth.
Eric Boshaney. Greetings, brother. You know, it's surprising, been a couple years since I've seen you, and you still hold it against me. So, again, I urge you to think twice about what you're spewing, as I already shared your channel. Obviously showing I hold no regrets or misgivings. Well, you say that now. When I never involved myself in the gang stalking. If I ever said anything against you, it's on my own. I don't need anybody to back me up. So when you come up with your illicit behaviors and pointing fingers at me, that's not me gang stalking you because you're pointing your finger at somebody else. But yet you already claimed that I did. You never did. Yet you already claimed that I did. Said, seems you fell for the Paul unshaved lies and gang stalking against me. No, I didn't. I used my own discernment and judged you for your behaviors against me. I don't give a fuck about how you behave. If you're going to love me, great. But if you don't, it shows in your behavior. No, I didn't fall for their slanderous lies. Like I said, I hold nothing against you for anybody else's behavior but your own, and that was against me. It had nothing to do with anything else. So let's get back to it.
The system is not there to help people, and it is not operating as a system that promotes fairness and equity. It has become a system that allows power brokers to ruin other people's lives and go home and sleep on nice pillows and wake up and start again the next day. And
Clout, cash, and collectivism. Clout, cash, and collectivism.
I just decided that I just don't want to be a part of it anymore. So my mission moving forward is just to use this platform and all of the other social media platforms that I can build an audience on to try to impact the one thing that I know makes their demand elastic, and that is public outrage. And so
makes their demand elastic, and that's public outrage. Again, it is the people's government, and you have to let them know this is not just a slight against you. It's not just some kind of minor offense. You're slighting our fucking children. You're slighting our entire fucking families. That's criminal. You're doing it on purpose with knowing intent, in conspiracy with others.
The opportunity to be more effective here, and being only one person who only has so much time and emotional energy, this is the next step for me to make sure that I can have the biggest positive impact I possibly can. I'm closing the chapter.
And so I agree again, the emotional energy that I have to expend towards people trying to attack me, I don't. That's why I say I love you, but I don't give a rat's ass whether you love me back or not. In other words, if you're going to sit there and try to play your power games and your slights and your ad hominems and all of this, it's like water off a duck's back for me, because I have bigger things in my heart that I need to think about and speak on. And it certainly ain't nobody else on this panelverse.
Of being a practicing attorney for the time being, there may come a time when I decide that I want to go get into actually showing up in your city and creating chaos the way Benjamin Crump does. I jokingly tell friends of mine that I'm gonna go by Cringeman because it's cringy and it's a play on words, and just show up and create absolute havoc in your city and sue the shit out of you. But I'm not there yet. I'm not admitted to federal court. There's a bunch of stuff I need to do in order to get there, and I'm going to be working towards potentially doing that in the future. But for now, just understand, I'm not going to take any new clients. I really don't want money. It's not.
So he kind of indicated there that he might get involved in some more journalistic aspects of it, like the First Amendment audits and stuff like that. Not particularly, but at least letting him know that he's speaking out and he's going to be very public about it. That's journalism.
Not about money for me, and I just don't see any sense in trying to stretch myself too thin by having obligations to clients and running them through a system that I no longer think is working or offering any sort of positive contribution to.
So he's literally saying it's not worth hiring an attorney. You understand? He's in agreement with what I've been saying for 10 years. You hire an attorney, it proves that you are incompetent. If you are incompetent, then what are you doing raising children? That gives them a perfect reason to believe that you shouldn't be raising children. You're the one that complies with fiction. You rather believe that the fiction is telling you the truth than objectively observe reality and should knowingly in your heart know that no other man has authority over you.
Our world, now that I've seen behind the curtain and I know how the sausage is made. The sausage is made by grinding up decent people, turning them into criminals, treating everyone like criminals, and dispensing with the rights that our forefathers literally revolted over. So I'm a pissed off American. I'm motivated to push for change, and I'm going to start maximizing my time by focusing on what I believe is the most.
My companion's got a shirt that says the American people are pissed off. If you can't find one, get one made up. Get a cheap one made up. The American people are pissed off.
Impactful thing that I can do, and that is this. So stay tuned. I'm not going anywhere from YouTube unless y'all get tired of me and stop watching me or they kick me off. This is where I think I can have the biggest impact. And so I'm super thankful for you guys, very thankful for the opportunity. The fact that you guys trust me for the most part. Some of you don't know me very well. I literally have people say, man, I love everything about what you're saying. And like 2 videos later, after they've found an old video that I said that pissed them off, you're this and you're that. It's like, I don't do this for.
See, it's the same thing in their world. The same thing. See, they see the drama loops and everything, just like we do on the metaverse. It's part of every platform because it's people involved in those platforms and their psychology, and the insanity is just as systemic as the criminal activity going on in those ranks. So American is all from Canada down to South America's tip. Yes, it's the American continent, North and South American continent. Dr. D-Head. Yeah, he thought he was an attorney, so he's going to say something other. And guess what? I clicked on this earlier and didn't watch it all the way through because I already pretty much knew what he was going to say. Apparently, I was mistaken. Great vindication, Mr. El Perro. Appreciate it. This is why I tell you, don't believe me, don't believe the neighbor, don't believe the government. For crying out loud, don't believe your mother. Do your research. Even if it is having to listen to people you don't want to listen to, they're going to give you certain aspects that you may not be aware of, particularly if they're people like this guy that's been on the inside. Now he's giving you perspectives that you weren't aware of because you've only been listening to him from people like me that have never been on the inside, and yet we're professing what we see, and you won't believe us because we ain't been on the inside. Fucking irony. Our so-called nationality, as if I need that collectivism, tribalism, is New Yorker, not USAN or American. Correct. Each state is in fact a nation state. And again, if you're going to go by the Iowan thing, then you're still not detaching yourself from that collectivism. You're still binding yourself to a governmental body as if though you are one of them. No, you are external as one of the people. That governmental body is existing only in persons that are directly involved as government agents and officers. That's what the identification system is. Even if you have a state national, It's an identification. A man is bound by his words, not somebody else's. Why would you need somebody else's identification to prove who you are? That's the same shit as Kunta Kinte undertaking the obligations as a coroner for the decedent as Toby. Correct. You fail to willingly and wantingly stand on your own. You need that collectivism. I was mistaken, yes. And that's what I like about people that are willing to admit that they've made an error. He was a good dude already. I knew he got it. I learned it from people like you who are way ahead of the curve. I appreciate that, Dr. D-Head. I appreciate that. Correct. Not a single so-called state is defined by metes and bounds, fake borders of fake jurisdictions. Correct. They can only have a territorial overlay. That's why we have children being educated in the United States that don't live in the United States, that on that geographical map, all those states are part of the United States. They're not showing that each state is a nation of its own and that there's a corporate fiction overlay that exists in United States, which is located in the District of Columbia, that controls it for monetary and political means. So let's get on to the next one. The next video is insane judge removed for lying under oath, insurance fraud, and stolen valor, folks. Stolen valor on the bench with an Admiralty flag, gold fringe. Oops. And this is from Nate the lawyer. Nate the lawyer. Go check him out. Great guy. Does excellent breakdowns. And we're going to break this down on his breakdown.
The last hour, the Judiciary Commission of Louisiana is recommending that Baton Rouge Judge Tiffany Foxworth-Roberts be removed from the bench.
And the reason going to shock you because the judge did everything from lie about her military history.
After reviewing her military records that Foxworth-Roberts at first refused to provide to investigators, and that she was never deployed to Iraq or Afghanistan, nor was she ever in any combat zone.
Then the judge filed a false police report and insurance claim to get some money.
The complaint alleged Foxworth-Roberts filed a false police report and a false insurance claim. And that's not all.
To show us that she didn't file a State Farm claim. Well, come to find out, she did file.
State Farm was her auto.
Her auto insurance.
Okay.
Now, she didn't put that qualifier in her response. She just said, I didn't file any claim at all. And as I said, we did later find out that she did file a claim with her homeowner's insurance, USAA.
And now judges in the great state of Louisiana want to kick her off the bench.
In the Judiciary Commission's final report given to the Supreme Court, they said, quote, "It is rarely an easy decision for the Judiciary Commission to seek the removal of a judge. However, given the totality of the misconduct that the commission found to be proven by clear and convincing evidence, to protect the public and its confidence in the integrity of the judiciary and to purge the judiciary of any taint of disrepute, the commission is compelled to recommend the removal of Judge Foxworth-Roberts from office."
All right, we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah. A lot to talk about. See, this is, if you saw my, a few videos I did last night, shorter ones, about the movement going around with the Justice Without Limits. Go check them out. Justice Without Limits. Tanawa Downing, currently in the hospital. Put prayers out for him and his group of people going around from county to county in every state across the United States, and giving their service of notice of misprision of felony if they don't report these certain judges that they have affidavits against, and providing them with those affidavits and the service. So they're showing the true process. They're mentioning Rule 17 and Rule 20 of the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, as well as emoluments in office. These offices are being filled with judges that are taking people to criminal courts, fictional criminal courts under Article 1, and there's only a civil action. And so what they're doing is they're using indictment by, guilt by information rather than indictment, which is the Fifth Amendment. So they're violating the Constitution by passing laws that say they can criminalize people based on information rather than indictment.
This is Judge Tiffany Foxworth Roberts. She sits on the 19th Judicial Court of East Baton Rouge Parish. Her official
Yeah, and that's one of my topics, Eric, is that the real accountability and the real transparency comes when they're all held accountable, you know, rather than just removing them from the bench or retiring before they get fired and then moving to another district or another county or another state. And this is a real problem that isn't being resolved. So it's not just removing them from the bench, but holding them accountable and culpable in conspiracy with others, so that we're not just charging one officer, Sheriff Mickey Steins, with murdering Judge Kevin Mullins, but investigating the whole circle of events and bringing the whole crowd down. You know, no more retiring and moving to another police department and everything gets swept under the rug. It already happened, and Judge Kevin Mullins wasn't held accountable. Now Sheriff Mickey Stein steps up, kills him in his office, and now they're going to imprison Mickey Steins, of course, but no other questions are going to be raised. I hope it doesn't come to that. I hope the FBI does step in and bring the whole fucking thing down. You know, that's what really needs to happen.
Ohio says she was a nurse in the Army and she achieved the rank of captain and is a law school graduate. But some of the stuff I just told you is not true. It all begins in 2020, a car burglary in a Baton Rouge neighborhood. Now, the judge says the car was burglarized right in front of her home. And here are the police body cams, so you can see the judge telling police exactly what happened and exactly what was stolen.
Is this a house or an apartment?
That call to police led a Baton Rouge police officer to arrive, his body camera rolling.
Hi, I'm Tiffany Foxworth.
Hello.
This is my husband,
Jonathan Roberts. How are you? Jonathan, nice to meet you.
Since everyone was here, we were all out campaigning. I came back here. The cars are parked like this. And well, he just got here, so his car wasn't here. When we came back, that passenger side door was open.
Okay.
The glove compartment was open, and the car was ramshacked. But the thing of it is, the doors were locked.
The soon-to-be judge gets very specific with what is missing from her unlocked car.
He said that he doesn't think anybody broke in. That he said he thinks the doors were open. Can you come right back?
Have you noticed that anything that was taken, like anything that was stolen?
There was my makeup bag. Sorry. My makeup bag was right down there in the bottom, inside of my makeup bag. I had cash money in that.
How much money was that?
There was $400 in cash in that and $50 bills. In the back of the car, my purse, it was a red purse right there with $3,000 in cash. My credit cards, my ID, our global entry.
Foxworth Roberts also claimed a $900 laptop was also stolen.
When did y'all notice the door open? About what time?
Let me see, I can check it basically.
If there's a time frame, we can see around the neighborhood if anybody's got cameras on their house.
Yeah, we can. It's about, let me see, about 6:08.
If you wind up notice anything else missing, just give us a call back and have a list of items prepared for us so we can come and add it to the report later. Good. All right.
Thank you so much.
But other than that, that's it.
Okay. Thank you so much.
And Foxworth Roberts did. 2 days later, the Office of Disciplinary Counsel found she added additional items on Monday, March 2nd, 2020, claiming her Rolex, David Yurman bracelet valued at $1,000, her passport, shoes valued at $500 were all missing. Investigators say it didn't end there.
Yeah, I kind of question that kind of stuff. Do you carry that kind of stuff in your car or just leave it in your car? I mean, how does it get stolen out of your car if you're not leaving it in your car? And again, why would you leave that kind of shit in your car? I mean, these are reasonable people, supposedly, right? Upstanding, privileged looking. Amazing shit.
Insurance claims were also filed for an additional David Yurman bracelet and diamond engagement ring that were also missing.
So now, do you think the judge lost $40,000 worth of jewelry in her car? She just has $40,000 in jewelry laying around her car. Nice a quick message from the...
Absolutely. Dr. D had asked a good question, says, do those dynamics you're talking about make these political prosecutions? Because complicit parties might otherwise dissent who go along to get along for political reasons. Yes, I mentioned this, it's a career suicide. So no matter what capacity you're in, under that residency, that United States citizenship, that officer agent capacity. It's that career suicide, no matter what kind of career you're in that inside circle there. Whether you're a jailer or a sheriff or a judge or a bailiff or an attorney or, whatever. And I've seen it extend to bondsmen and tow companies, all kinds of stuff, experts in fields, medical societies when it comes to blood samples and UAs, drug evaluations, things like that. It's systemic in everything, like I've said. It's the same thing. It's a cronyism that operates in each individual group. It's a private club, and you're not in it.
Sponsor this video, crypto.com. And remember, I'm Nate the lawyer, not Nate the finance guy. Nothing here is financial advice. Always do your own research before investing. Let's be clear, cryptocurrency isn't coming. It's already here.
Always do your research before you go running your mouth or doing anything. Always do your research. It's reiterated not just on my channel, but many channels.
Always do your own research before investing. Now, back to the madness. Now, when police investigated, they discovered it seems like the judge lied about the theft.
I'm not saying that she lied. I'm saying that
she stretched the truth. This is the complaint that launched.
That's like some idiot when I asked him what the lie was, and he says, well, it wasn't a physical lie. No, a lie is a lie. So don't sit there and say that you stretched the truth, because that's not stretching. There is no such thing as stretching truth except expanding upon the truth, making things more objectively observable so others can see it for what it is. But when you use this phrase, stretching the truth, you're actually implicating that you hid something. And that is, you can't do that. It's a lie. It's not stretching the truth. It's a lie. It's criminal. It's not corruption. It's criminal.
The investigation into Foxworth-Roberts 4 years ago. It was sent anonymously in May of 2021 by someone who said they, quote, sat by and watched her conduct bring disrepute to the judiciary for over a year. The 4-page letter mentions how the complainant says she lied to police when she reported a car burglary in 2020. This is where the problems for the judge began.
No. Again, like I said before, this is a pattern of behavior that these people have. It's not the first time. It's happened many times before in various different situations under different circumstances relevant to the same concept, making false claims, bearing false witness, and getting away with it. It is not the first time.
Sherwood Forest neighborhood when she says her car was burglarized while she was campaigning in February of 2020. Now, despite being a criminal attorney and knowing the law well, the judge moved her car from the scene of the crime to her home. According to the OSC report, Judge Foxworth-Roberts never clarified to police that the burglary, in which she claims more than $40,000 worth of jewelry was taken, didn't happen in her driveway.
So what does this even matter? Well, the judge wanted to file an insurance claim on the $40,000 of jewelry she had in that car. Now, if that car was someplace else, then she couldn't file an insurance claim because the car insurance only really covers the vehicle and not things within the vehicle. But her home insurance would cover any losses that happen on the property. So,
bingo. So it goes to the relevant question that I posed earlier. Why would you carry such things in your car? If you're out campaigning, why would you even take them out of the house?
By the judge saying the burglary happened at her home insurance would cover it. Now, the judge was specifically asked if she made an insurance claim for the losses in the car, the $40,000 in jewelry. And the judge told the authorities she didn't file an insurance claim. But when they looked, they found out she actually did. And that insurance claim, they believe, is fraudulent.
counsel.
Absolutely. If she made a claim that it was sitting in the driveway so she could use her house insurance, her home insurance, when in fact it happened out in the community, showing your own stupidity. Like I pointed out, you wouldn't walk out of the house with that just to put it in the vehicle to have it take the chance that you might be stolen. You just fucking leave it home, right?
On the insurance claim, in reading the record, there was some issue as to whether there was a misunderstanding as to whether it was a homeowner's claim or a vehicle claim. So what was the particular question that was posed while she was under oath? Was it whether you filed a claim or whether you filed a homeowner's or whether you filed an auto claim?
Just to be clear, this was our initial inquiry, our written inquiry to her that I'm referencing right now, which is
Okay.
not under oath.
Okay.
We send the respondent judge a copy of the complaint along with specific inquiries, and the question was whether you had filed an insurance claim.
Okay.
Didn't specify auto, homeowners, and insurance claim. And keep in mind that the complaint itself specifically referenced USAA. Instead of acknowledging a claim with USAA, she said, I didn't file any insurance claim at all. The complaint itself specifically referenced USAA. Instead of acknowledging a claim with USAA, she said, I didn't file any insurance claim at all. The complaint itself specifically referenced USAA. Instead of acknowledging a claim with USAA, she said, I didn't file any insurance claim at all, and provided us documentation from State Farm to show us that she didn't file a State Farm claim. Well, come to find out, she did file
State Farm was auto.
her auto insurance.
Okay.
Now, she didn't put that qualifier in her response. She just said, I didn't file any claim at all.
Okay, so if filing false police reports and false insurance claims isn't enough, well, then the judge lied about her military service. She said she served in 3 wars and that she achieved the rank of captain in the United States Army. Both are actually lies.
I am an Army veteran. I served 14 years through 3 wars: Desert Storm, Iraq, Afghanistan.
Misrepresent.
Years through 3 wars: Desert Storm, Iraq. I am an Army veteran. I served 14 years through 3 wars: Desert Storm, Iraq, Afghanistan. Army veteran. I served 14 years through 3 wars: Desert Storm, Iraq, Afghanistan.
Misrepresenting her military service.
Foxworth-Roberts told the commission today she had a, quote, failure in judgment, candidness, and openness. She acknowledged campaign ads that said she was an Army captain were false.
Oh, that's not a failure in candidness and openness. Again, it's a fucking lie. It's criminal.
False, telling the commission today that she never served in the combat zone and never served in Iraq, Afghanistan, or Desert Storm as her campaign ad suggested. She was discharged in 2010 as a first lieutenant, saying today, quote, I've never gone in front of the promotion board.
But the judge said she had a very, very, very good excuse why people are confused on whether she was a captain or a first lieutenant or she served in all these wars. It's because she was asked confusing questions. Here's her attorney explaining it.
Mr. Irving, I want to follow up.
Imagine a judge being asked confusing questions. Imagine a judge being asked confusing questions.
On that, because to me this is an important point. I can understand the confusion that comes from a campaign, and she has folks that are fine, upstanding citizens that are saying it's my fault, I'm responsible. I think that it's reasonable that we could accept that. But what that doesn't answer is what we just talked about. We're not talking about a person off the street. This is a lawyer and a judge, and they're being asked.
A lawyer and a judge, and being asked a confusing question as to whether she was a captain in the military? I don't think there's too much to be confused about that.
The question, twice. You were in the Army and you were a captain. I would think any rational person would correct them, knowing that that's untrue, and say, oh yeah, I was in the Army, I was only a lieutenant. Something to be proud of, not something to be ashamed of. Why twice did she not correct that misstatement under oath? And in fact, answering yes, comma, yes to the compound question seems to affirmatively affirm it.
Correct. So again, it's not that she put the lie out there, but she accepted it and put it forth as truth. That is lying. Stop calling it anything but a lie.
The only thing I can tell you to that is that it was a compound question, and she was responding to the issue of being in the Army and responding to the question of being a commissioned officer and not addressing the rank.
Now, if that was it, you'd probably be like, okay, so what? But the judge had a problem with continuously lying while she was under oath. This is a judge. Matter of fact, here's another judge from the commission calling her out on all of those lies under oath.
Justice Cole, what else under oath? Or if
Well, there is the testimony about being a captain in the Army. There is testimony about not knowing. She claimed to not know about the second claim for the $19,000 ring. However,
so we're talking testimony, and she's a lawyer and a judge, so she knows that term, and that's a hard one to get out of. That means you you gave them Anything you say or do can and will be used against you in a court of law. So it's even going to go against the judges. If you're going to lie and they want to catch you up in it, they're going to take you out, and they should. Every last one of these people should be taken off the bench, removed from their positions, and serve time for their crimes, particularly conspiracy. Knowing behind the scenes that the shit's going on and just going along to get along because they got a paycheck to make to go home and protect and provide for their family. Lack of being righteous. Lack of using the justice system in its proper manner. And instead accepting emoluments at the threat, intimidation, and coercion of the very people that you're supposed to serve.
The insurance records belie that. They show that she contacted USAA at least 3 times to make that claim. She attempted to tell us that it was USAA's idea to put it on the second claim, which absolutely was not true. The records show that that was not true. Also,
and I mentioned that earlier, Eric, that sitting judge on a bench and stolen valor, that courtroom under Admiralty Maritime has a American flag with a gold fringe on it. Right? So she is in the correct tribunal for it. And that's not what they signed up for, though. Correct. That's a lot of these people, like the previous video, the attorney, he said he signed up for it with a certain enchantment. He wanted to be one of the heroes. And somewhere along the line, that career suicide takes effect, even if it's on the first day or 20 years, 30 years. There's that career suicide because of that enchantment. They want that job so bad. They want to be that hero. So even if they see the criminal activity behind the scenes on the first day, they're going to keep going to work the next day because they think they can do something about it from inside. That's the sad part.
So, claimed that she never saw the ads that were run in the Central City News, which is just not credible testimony. She paid over $7,000 for 9 ads that ran over several months, both in her initial campaign and then the subsequent campaign for the full term.
Now, the problem is this judge has been caught in so many lies. It's unbelievable, right? She served in Desert Storm. But if that was true, she would have served when she was 16 years old. Impossible.
I served 14 years through 3 wars.
They determined she was only 16 years old during Operation Desert Storm and that she was never deployed to Iraq or Afghanistan, nor was she ever in any combat zone.
Now, this is all in the hands of the Louisiana Supreme Court. And they have a couple of options. They can do a public censure, using a bad judge they can suspend, or they can disrobe this judge, removing her from office. And let's just keep it real. This isn't about military service or politics. It's about truth. She said she was a captain.
Wait a minute. See what they're moving right over? Well, if she lies to that extent, I would like to take a look at that public record of all the cases that she adjudged and take a deeper look into them. Every last one of them. She has no credibility, yet they're going to leave that as credible on the record. That's why I say the record is in error. It can't be true. This is systemic, and there's no way in fucking hell I'm going to believe the government.
She wasn't. She said her car was robbed. It wasn't. She said she didn't file an insurance claim. She did. And when investigators asked for the records, she dodged them for months. The Supreme Court has one question left to answer. Can someone who lied in these manners be...
I can't say that. I'm glad you did, though, Tribe. The Tribe says, they signed up for the criminal activities, and I can see with the mental instability that a lot of these people have. And that's why I say I don't think we should have young men and women on the police force. They should have a certain history and background behind them first and foremost that allows for a certain depth of credibility, not just a glamorous sheath over top of them that's posing as a shiny badge to delusion or disillusion people. So, but most of them, I think, get into it for the inherent reason of wanting to be a hero. And somehow, that disillusion or illusion, whatever you want to call it. And that's the sad part. See, everybody poses to be a good man. And they want to be that hero. And like this, the attorney that was an officer, and then he became an attorney, and now he's decided he's no longer going to be an attorney because he's seen the insanity loop in real life as one of the participants in the insanity of this judicial and political system.
Trusted to be impartial, fair, and honest as a judge?
This is a case that merits removal because you cannot teach a judge to be honest. We shouldn't have to teach a judge to be honest.
What? What?
This is a case that merits removal because you cannot teach a judge to be honest. We shouldn't have to teach a judge to be honest. Thank you.
Honest as a judge?
This is a case that merits removal because you cannot teach a judge to be honest. We shouldn't have to teach a judge to be honest. Thank you.
And so, never give power to those who want it. As long as you keep voting for a boss, it's just like hiring an attorney. It proves you're incompetent. If you really think you are self-governing, then you would be one of those people that would recognize their position in the 9th and 10th Amendment and the power that rests in the sovereignty of the people, no matter where it's extended to, the state or the United States. And you would maintain that sovereignty, and that sovereignty lies only in objective truth and the reality that this is a Christian nation that says to love thy neighbor as thyself. Owe no man anything but to love one another, for to love one another is to fulfill the law. And then they sit there and, like Eric says, they commit to writing it down and think that's law. You've been deceived. You've been swayed from what's truly in your heart. Pathetic. Amazingly simple. But yet so many cower in fear of what's going to happen if they detach and quit sucking on that false patriarch's teat.
Hold up, grab my soda cause I told you I'm colder than hell. I ain't buying what you sell, it don't ring my bell. Unless it's got the smell, you know, like grape pape. We ain't talking vapes or the color of drapes, or a gorilla in a cape. It's the good shit, just one hit. You so lit, you fall into a bit, non-bit. What's fucking funny is you're a monkey, a high school flunky, hero and junkie, obliteration of the carnation with gross castration, skewed citations by your intimation. Get real, young man, there's only one stand. You can't stand a suntan, how you gonna live on the land? Obliteration of the carnation with gross castration in skewed citations by your intimations. I'm a truth in rotation, you're a cheap imitation. Dark said hums, 808s make the ground shake. Cold as the grave, every word's a land quake. You're a flicker in a cipher, I'm the flame that won't fade. Step into the night where the shadows are made. What's fucking funny is you're a monkey, a high school flunky, hero and junkie. I'm gonna clank another hit of this good shit, and I'm already it, so take over, it's been non-bit.
for joining us at Personality Inventory Mockumentary Productions.
What you looking at? You're all a bunch of fucking assholes. You know why? You don't have the guts to be what you want to be? You need people like me. You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy. So what that make you? Good? You're not good. You just know how to hide, how to lie. Me, I don't have that problem.
Me, I always tell the truth, even when I lie. So say goodnight to the bad guy. Come on.
The last time you're gonna see a bad guy like this again, let me tell you. Come on. Make way for the bad guy. There's a bad guy coming through. Better get out of his way. What you looking at? You're all a bunch of fucking assholes. You know why? You don't have the guts to be